A warm welcome to everyone and thank you for joining us. This is a virtual event put together during lockdown, with everyone filming themselves at home on their phones, and some doing 50 takes. What a great effort everyone has put in for us to enjoy now. If you'd like to comment on things you hear or see as we go along, please do so in the comment box below. We'd love to hear what you think. To start us off and give us a more formal welcome, we have Liz Fothergill, Chair of the Derby Book Festival.
Hello, I'm Liz Fothergill, the Chair of Derby Book Festival, and it's my great pleasure to welcome everyone taking part or watching to our shared writing virtual event. Whether you are with us live or at some time in the future, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining us for this very special celebration. In normal times, we'd have recently finished the 6th Derby Book Festival, where authors from far and wide would have come to Derby to talk about their books. Over 100 wonderful events across 9 days in some fabulous city centre venues. We would have had sessions on politics, sport, history, stories, humour, biography, and so much more. But all about bringing people together, sharing a love of books, and the absolute joy that reading for pleasure can bring to all our lives. This year, as you know, sadly, due to the dreadful COVID-19 pandemic, we had to cancel. But we have been fortunate enough to record interviews with some of our authors, and their talks are on the Derby Book Festival website. There's some really good stuff there, so please take a look. After our normal programme, we would have had a live celebration event for our Shared Writings Books launch, a fantastic part of Derby Book Festival's year-round community programme. Last year we had a wonderful day at Broomfield College in the sunshine and enjoying the animals and hearing some of the wonderful students. It was fabulous. But this year we can't party live with each other, but we are holding this virtual online event to celebrate the publication of 2 more wonderful books. That's Derby Book Festival, always innovative, and you can't put us down. I'm honestly so proud of these fabulous books. The contribution by each and every one of the writers and the illustrators is just joyous. So thank you all so much. Thank you for being part of the Derby Book Festival family. Programmes like these don't happen without the support and passion of many, many people. So a massive thanks to all. You know who you are. But will you please look at the back of the books to see how lucky we are to have such wonderful partners. But a special extra thank you to Derby College, Derby University, and the super creative Burn the Book team for their fantastic design ideas. The books are just so beautiful. And of course, endless gratitude to Helen and Jenny, the inspiration behind the entire programme. And now, on with the show. You are in for a treat.
Thank you, Liz. As Liz said, the contribution of our writers and illustrators is joyous. And so, to get a flavour of what she's talking about, we're going to start off watching the video on the first book called The World and Me. This is an anthology of writing from the festival's shared writing programme with Derby University, Derby College and 3 Derby schools, the Bemrose School, St Benedict Catholic Voluntary Academy and Murray Park Community School.
Brilliant, exciting, amazing, creative. Just some of the words chosen by my Year 8 students about their experience working with Derby Book Festival on the Writing Together project. They were given the freedom to explore language in a way that often doesn't happen in the classroom, and they really grew in confidence and creativity because of that. Going to Willow Pit Nature Reserve gave them the inspiration they needed to really have some fun with language and explore the world around them. To then have the input and support from professional performance poet Leanne Moden really gave them a great confidence boost and made them believe that they could actually do work worthy of being published.
Throughout the weeks of putting the poem together, it took a lot of time, effort and thought. However, as the poem started to come together, I enjoyed doing it a lot more, which motivated me to put this time into it.
First, when we went to the poet's house, I was like, I'm not gonna make this, but then the teacher inspired me. So all this project was amazing, but it's my first experience doing this kind of thing, and yeah, it was great.
To watch them working together to create such beautiful poetry was heartwarming for me. They really enjoyed the whole experience. The icing on the cake is to have that work published and beautifully illustrated in a book that really celebrates the achievements that they are so very proud of.
The world is a dictionary with everything inside. The world is full of secrets we're trying to hide. Think of an ocean with more plastic than fish, and don't settle with we've got it sorted-ish. Because the world is an oxygen tank rapidly losing air. The world is full of humans who aren't playing fair. The world we can make could be green and full of life. We can remake the world to eradicate strife. The world is full of humans that need to wake up and see that the world could be so much better for you and for me.
The world is in space, just wandering around. Is full of dry trees, is 4 seasons. Is waiting for the bird's egg to crack, is a growing flower praising the glorious sun. Is an unknown dictionary. The word is the word is the word. The word is full of different estates, is made by different cultures, is the lava's shelter, is a factory chimney, is ready to be clean, is the place of love and hate. The word is the word is the word. The word is an open shop that's waiting for the customers to buy love. Is a stopping sign for the pollution, is sad because we are torturing it. The word is the word is the word.
Willow's leaves would spread out like wings, especially when he sings. I stood where he used to stand and wept. Oh willow, come back to me. The other trees were bare and boring, but you were something special.
I come from the delirious birds hunted and killed, from the words of promises broken with fear, from the glass that can be shattered with a single word. I come from the most revolting of profanities, wishing I never were one. I come from a heart full of emotions, but rebuking the emotions that show signs of sadness and regret.
I come from pizza and pasta, green leprechauns, great Sunday roast and big boats. Big family full of love and affection, watching Harbour City every day to Central Perk. We're on a break, okay? I come from Family Olympics, your sport to choose. Big waves and big boards, goosebumps and Cornish pasties after getting bored. I come from a lot of things, from Cornwall to Derby, but most of all, I come from a family full of tradition, old and new, love that lasts forever.
I was delighted this year to be asked to judge the shared writing competition where students from Derby College and the University of Derby entered 350-word pieces on the theme of the world and me. And it was an honour really to read pieces that were moving, honest, sometimes traumatic to read. I hope you really enjoy seeing your piece in a publication, because there's nothing better than seeing your work printed.
I first decided to enter this competition because I've never entered a poetry competition before, and I thought it would be something fun to do outside of uni, but I also wanted to share my work with a wider audience. I was inspired to write If Tomorrow Starts Without Me after I stumbled across David Romano's poem, also called If Tomorrow Starts Without Me, on YouTube. My poem looks at the idea of death and the impact on the wider world after we have gone. If tomorrow starts without me, would your world turn grey? If tomorrow starts without me, I wonder what would you say? If tomorrow starts without me, would you think of me at all? If tomorrow starts without me, would you remember our last call? If tomorrow starts without me, you would carry on. If tomorrow starts without me, even if I were gone.
Now, it sounds kind of cliche, but my granddad really was my best friend. Like, sometimes he was the only one who could really cheer me up. The hardest thing about it all was, I never really got to say goodbye to him. As for the actual poem, I had so many ideas of things I wanted to write, and I did tons of fancy mind maps, but they didn't have enough feeling behind them. They just felt really empty. But I remember thinking about how much he accomplished with his own life and how different things are for me than they were for him. And I just knew I had to write about him because I miss him and I really hope he'll be proud of me.
My granddad remembers the past, the first car, the war when he rode in the back of a bomber, the fun he had with all his brothers. He remembers building his own house, the rise of technology when we played games on the desktop PC. He remembers me being born. I wonder if that was his biggest change. I wonder if he thought my life would be as different as in his time. Is my future flying cars? Is it men in tinfoil hats? Is it hoverboards or starships or talking planes? Maybe we'll take holidays to the moon, meet aliens from different galaxies. Maybe we'll even be hiding away from a Martian invasion. All I know is ideas have changed a lot since my granddad's time.
I hope the competition has sparked the idea that you can put your thoughts, you can put your aspirations, you can put any problems into words, and it often helps, and it's a great record of how you feel at a particular moment in time.
I became a teacher to help children love language in the way that I do. It's not always easy within the constraints of the classroom and the curriculum to give them the kind of freedom to understand that the language around them can be so beautiful and so creative. This opportunity has been truly, truly life enriching for them, and I would like to thank Derby Book Festival.
The world is a lush green patch of grass, peppered with beautiful golden sunflowers that reach high up in the sky to stretch towards the sunlight. The world is a massive water body contaminated with pollutants and chemicals and sprayed with the salt of the sea. The world is a scorched wall facing the fierce rays of the sun. It is a revolving giant spinning on an imaginary axis, big and beautiful before but tarnished over time.
Hope looks like puppies waiting at the door for you to come home from school. Hope sounds like beautiful singing from a school choir in church. Hope smells like a cake being baked in the oven. Hope tastes like fresh air on a long walk. Hope feels like a burning in the pit of your stomach.
Hope looks like a beacon shining in the distance. Hope smells like a warm dinner waiting to be eaten. Hope sounds like cheering at the end of a marathon. Hope tastes like a feeling or a chance at greatness. Hope feels like the end of a race crossing in first place.
It's lovely to hear the writers talking about and reading parts of their insightful pieces of writing with such pride. And now Sarah Ward is going to tell us more about the writing competition mentioned.
Hello, my name's Sarah Ward. I'm a crime writer based in North Derbyshire near Buxton, and I'm an associate board member of the Derby Book Festival and also a book critic and judge of literary competitions. I was delighted this year to be asked to judge the shared writing competition where students from Derby College and the University of Derby entered 350-word pieces on the theme of the world and me. That's obviously a very broad theme, and it was fascinating to see the entries, which were both fiction and non-fiction, there was poetry, there was prose, and it's a great subject for students of that age, because when you're a teenager or a young adult, it's a time when you're thinking about your place in the world and also your future aspirations. And it was an honour really to read pieces that were moving, honest, sometimes traumatic to read. I'm aware that there's a diverse range of backgrounds that go to Derby College and the University of Derby. And it was great that these were reflected in the entries. Inevitably, when you're judging a competition, obviously you have to choose runners-up and winners. But first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to everybody who entered and those who made it into the shared writing book. I hope you really enjoy reading, seeing your piece in a publication, because there's nothing better than seeing your work printed. And in particular, congratulations to the runners-up and winners. First of all, the first one was Emmy Pye as a runner-up for her story called Grandad's Time. The second runner-up was Abdul Rahman Ahmed for his story Finally It's My Turn. And the third runner-up from Derby College was Leighton Bowery for his story It Started With Name Calling. All three excellent pieces. The winner from the Derby College is Malika Ahmed for her story An Endless Journey, which I absolutely loved. It's very honest, very raw, and like the best crime stories, it has a bit of a twist at the end, which I absolutely loved. Congratulations to all of you on that list. Secondly, the University of Derby entries. There were two runners-up. The first one was Radoslav Ostapozuk, whose story was called Cigarette.
As the wind smoked the cigarette in my hand, I sat hunched on the bench, chin resting on my knees. To find their place in the world, some people follow religion, hoping it can provide the answers they need. I never had that connection. My parents raised me to be Catholic. I followed along for a long time, not wanting to be a disappointment to my parents. I'd been baptised as an infant, took Holy Communion at the age of 8, and was confirmed as an adult of the Roman Catholic Church at 16. By then I knew I did not believe.
And then Megan Harris, who gave us a poetry entry, which was excellent to see, and it was called If Tomorrow Starts With Me.
If tomorrow starts without me, the sun would still rise. If tomorrow starts without me, leaving you behind. If tomorrow starts without me, your life would be unchanged. If tomorrow starts without me, nothing would be rearranged. If tomorrow starts without me, your house would still be home. If tomorrow starts without me, and I went to the unknown.
The winner is from the University of Derby was Jade Hadfield for her story, and so my life was this. I absolutely loved the imagery. She mixed urban and rural imagery, which I absolutely love, because obviously Derby is a very urban centre, so you've got that mixture, but we're surrounded by nature in the Derbyshire countryside, and she absolutely nailed it by connecting the two.
I stand alone atop the melancholy concrete, drowning beneath the most dreary sky. Raindrops drip from my fringe to my shirt to the floor. In this instant, I am connected. From the downpour to the sodden ground. We are one and the same, though different in every which way. We are in the world not because we choose to be, but because we were put here.
Congratulations to everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to judge the competition. It was a complete honour, and good luck everybody with your writing endeavours. I hope the competition has sparked the idea that you can put your thoughts, you can put your aspirations, you can put your any problems into words, and it often helps, and it's a great record of how you feel at a particular moment in time. Thank you.
Many congratulations to the competition winners. I hope the experience of writing and seeing your work published inspires you to keep writing for many years to come. The second book launched today is entitled Our Global Family and is a collection of short stories written by the Lexis students from Derby College. Life during lockdown for many of the writers of these stories is one of isolation, and overwhelmingly these young people have missed being a part of their college community. The writers are supported in the release of their book by some background information from their teachers and the reading of their stories by festival supporters in the video that you're now about to watch. Lexis is a Derby College English program for 16 to 18-year-old speakers of other languages who are newly arrived in the city of Derby.
Lexis is a tight-knit group who I'm very proud to be a part of, as it's so much more than just teaching. It's a very supportive, positive environment where students are given the opportunity not only to learn English but to also make friends, integrate into Derby life and culture and feel valued.
In September 2015, the Derby Book Festival offered the students from the Lexis Academy at Derby College an opportunity to have stories they have written published in a book as part of the Shared Writing Initiative. This unique chance for students who are learning the English language to write for a real audience was not to be missed. The opportunity to be part of the wonderful annual Derby Book Festival and write a story for a real audience adds a point of focus to the students' English program. And this year, I'm really proud to announce the release of our fifth book, entitled Our Global Family, Lexis Stories. The development of their stories has benefited from workshops run by author and performance poet Jess Green and editing assistance from their dedicated ESOL tutors.
We saw them go from being totally disengaged to looking forward to the lessons each week, which was absolutely fantastic. Through this, they were eager to write about their experiences and share their stories with the rest of the class. And this helped form a really strong bond within the group, which was great to see.
It was extremely important for us to ensure language barriers were kept to a minimum and that this opportunity was accessible to our learners. Therefore, these picture stories have been developed primarily through verbal scaffolding techniques, which started with group discussions using visual aids such as timelines and images. The illustrators were then able to creatively design the picture stories through further probing conversations with the students involved. Receiving the opportunity to run this project has meant an incredible amount to both staff and students. This project has helped to really create a sense of belonging amongst our students and has provided them the chance to have their voices heard, and has also highlighted the diversity within the courses we run, something that is always celebrated.
My story is, when I was young, my mother loved me very much, and my father and brothers too. When I lived with them, the government was unjust and oppressive. My family were against this, so the government killed my uncle. This situation was not safe for me, so I left when I was 14 years old. I left Sudan with the help of someone. Firstly, I went to Libya, but it was not safe. There were a lot of militia. Everybody had guns, even the students in school. Life was dangerous there. I met a person from Sudan in Libya. He helped me. He said that a young child like me needed to be helped. He helped me find a place on a boat. This was a very dangerous part of my trip.
I lost both my parents at the age of 9 months. I'm originally from Iraq, but my mother fled to Lebanon after my father died in the war. I stayed in a church in Lebanon called Mission de Vie, Mission of Life. The goal of this church is to act for people in distress. I was therefore raised at the church, who did not have any information about my Iraqi origin. I was protected by the church until I reached the age of 18. After that, the foundation UNHCR offered to help me to solve the problem of my documents.
At first, I didn't know anything about Derby. Even though I am a fan of football, I only know the big teams in the Premier League. I was brought to Derby from London. It was hard for me because it was winter, and because of the cold weather and the feeling you get being somewhere without knowing a single person or knowing anything about that place. To me, happiness is where family and friends are. To be in Derby was being in a place without happiness. The long nights of winter, being home alone, knowing I'd got no family or any friends around that area, was so hard for me.
I'm from Malawi in Southeast Africa, but I was born in Zambia. I came to the UK on 28th of March 2018, straight to Derby, where my parents were living. My first day at Derby College was all right. However, I had mixed emotions. I was drowned in my thoughts and suddenly the door opened. The teacher entered and we all introduced ourselves. I was happy to learn my class were all the same level of English and it became easier. However, the boys didn't give the girls a chance to talk, so I kept quiet. I started asking questions of myself again. How can I learn the language when I'm not talking in class? But I didn't give up. I kept going.
At Derby College, I also have all the teachers' support, and they help me a lot. They are all lovely and friendly, and I am happy to be here. I am writing this because it's from my heart.
Each year, the Lexis stories are superbly illustrated by the Derby College art students, and the exercise where the art students meet the Lexis students to gain insight into their stories is one of the highlights of the process towards publishing the stories.
Working with the Derby Book Festival is a great opportunity for our art and design students to obtain some quality work experience. During a presentation by Burn the Book, the students were introduced to how the book would be designed and printed, and they were excited to know that the book would be published and they would own a copy, their first real commercial project. The Art and Lexis students met in early March in our studio at the Joseph Wright Centre. In groups, they shared their stories of their experiences about their homeland, their journey to the UK, and their life so far in Derby, and they discussed ideas for the illustrations that might be created.
Some of my favourite parts of the project were working with a new set of people from different parts of the college, which I found interesting to learn about them and find out about their background and history. Their harrowing stories made me think about myself and the life I live, which is quite a powerful thing to do to another human being. I'm not an illustrator by nature, but I really enjoy exploring this way of working, transferring their stories and their experiences into my art, because it was a new way of learning how to turn a narrative into an art piece, which I found quite educational, and I love the different aspects of this project.
Interpreting somebody else's words visually is a skill, making an image that brings text alive to the reader. Our art students did an excellent job, especially as they hadn't begun their illustrations before lockdown, and so had to work independently at home with the materials they had available. So the work is varied in style and materials, including printmaking, computer-generated design and oil paint. It's this mix that makes the book so visually rich.
An outstanding facet interwoven into the Lexis program is the celebration of the individual students' rich life experiences, many of which are linked to the 21 diverse nationalities and cultures represented in our cohort of students, and others are influenced by the students' personal circumstances, such as fleeing war or deprivation in their own country of birth. This diversity you will have the opportunity to experience through reading the stories our students have written for this year's book. Our global family, Lexis Stories, provides the reader with a glimpse into the rich lives of these students who are now an integral part of our wider community. And I'm sure when you eventually get your hands on our books that you'll enjoy reading our students' stories and paging through the book, marveling at the wonderful illustrations. Roughly 150 students have taken part in this year's shared writing projects, and every contributor will receive a copy of their book in mid-July sent out by their school or college. And you'll also be able to buy additional copies of the book from the Derby Book Festival website. Some of the video you have seen today will also go up onto the Derby Book Festival website in July, and you'll be able to watch it again and share it with your family and friends. All that remains now is for me to thank you all for taking part in the shared writing virtual event. Congratulations everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.